right. Good morning again, brothers and sisters. Welcome. How's everyone doing? Doing well, I hope. Everyone excited for 2026? Yeah? Yeah. Nice. Who here made a resolution for 2026? Anybody? Anyone? Is that a thing of the past? No one really makes resolutions anymore. Anyone make any goals? Anyone already have goals? Who has a goal in their life? Any goal? Anything. Anything. Come on. Help me out, guys. All right. I hope you have goals in your life. Anyways, that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Share with a neighbor right now, though. Just let's take 2 minutes, just 1 minute each. Share with your neighbor if you have a resolution, if you have a goal. If not, then maybe just share. Maybe try to imagine yourself at the end of 2026 and share what comes to your mind, what you would love to see in yourself, in your life at the end of 2026. So just share with your neighbor. Just share freely, whatever comes to your heart and mind. Time minutes. I've noticed, I can speak for myself, when I don't have a goal, I'm aimless. I'm confused. I tend to get confused. Why am I so confused? It's because I'm not clear. Or if I'm not inspired, why am I not inspired? Because I'm not clear and focused on the goal on a specific goal. So, anyways, it's important. That's a little bit what I'll talk about today. The title of the sermon today is My 2026 Offering. This is from Genesis 1:27-28. Brian, can you read it?
So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
Aju. We've all maybe have heard this before, right? So there's a couple of points I want to just mention to start off this sermon. From this first passage, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Do you feel empowered, brothers and sisters, when you read this verse? You are made in the image of God. That is incredible. So there's many things we can learn from this. But one thing that I want to point out, as I was just talking about, is goals. Do you think God makes goals? Yeah. What do you think? Do you think God makes goals? I think so. The fact that he created something means that he had a goal, right? He had a goal in mind, right? When we look at the process of creation, God had a very clear step-by-step, right? I forget the steps, but God had a very clear step-by-step plan that was carried out, right? So God must have thought of this beforehand. God must have been God must have had a dream, right? God must have had an end goal in mind. And when we have a dream, when we have a goal, of course, the very first thing we think of is that end point, right? We don't think of the process necessarily initially, right? We think of what we desire most, that goal, that end point. And so God thought of Adam and Eve at the beginning, and God was excited. God was very excited. And so God invested I don't know how many years it may have taken for God to create the world, but God eventually created. So it's very clear that God had a goal in mind, and God set out and achieved that goal, right? He created Adam and Eve. And he said it was very good. And so that's the first point. Secondly, God wants to experience joy in our growth. So from this next verse, when it says, God blessed them, right? God said unto Adam and Eve, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion. When I hear this, I feel that God is saying, go out, live, be my sons and daughters, and show the world who you are, and take ownership, and take responsibility. And so God is empowering. Once again, this feeling of empowerment comes over me when I read this verse. And so God must be so excited, right? At the beginning, of course, God must have been so excited creating the world, the heavens and the earth, so excited for that day when his children would be born. And then his children were born, and I'm sure he was even more excited to see the day when they fulfill their God-given mission, responsibility, gift. And so this is the second point, that God wants to experience joy seeing our growth. So last week we had our New Year's party. Everyone was there. Or not last week. It was like a few days ago. It feels like a week ago. I mean, not everyone was there, but it was a lot of fun. And David was playing with these, with the construction paper. Did you buy this one, Sajika? Church bought it, yeah. This was we took out all the shapes for him. And then I came back later, and Mayumi-san was playing with him, and all the shapes were in their place. And I was like, oh, Mayumi-san, you put all the shapes in place? And she was like, no, David did everything. And I was shocked. I was actually really shocked. I don't think I saw David do that before. Maybe he was doing it in secret and learning on his own, which is what you're supposed to do, actually, sometimes, right? You're supposed to leave the kids alone, right? That's what the Montessori thing is, right? You got to leave them alone, let them. I wasn't ignoring him. But anyways, he surprised me. And I experienced so much joy in that moment when I saw what he accomplished. I experienced, I think, what God wants to experience in our lives. God wants to see us accomplish something and even be surprised by what we accomplish. If God created us in his own image, like him, right? Why can't we do things that surprise God, right? So, also during the New Year's party, I at the beginning I gave a little short message, and we gave the toast, right? And I talked about the year of this year is the year of the red fire horse, right? In the Chinese zodiac. Do you all remember the two words that I mentioned? Anyone? Anyone remember? There were 2 points. Or one of them. Do you remember one of them? It was very brief, I guess. It was too fast. But anyways, the 2 points, the 2 words were victory. Yeah, okay, thank you guys. One of them was victorious. Be victorious, right? When I imagine a horse, I imagine, running for the victory, right? Horses run to win, right? And you can see the desperation in their running. And the second word that came to my heart and mind related to fire is bold. So I mentioned something about, at least for me personally, I want to really be bold this year. I want to upgrade myself by being bold. And so I want to actually just expand on those 2 points today. Because my main question is, how can we bring God joy through our life? How can we bring God joy? And when I think about the end of 2026, my question for myself is, how can I bring God the greatest joy? Of course, it's great. I have a personal goal for myself, and we have personal goals. But at the end of the day, I think what's most valuable is that it brings joy to God, right? That goal, that ambition brings joy to God ultimately. And so that's my encouragement for all of you, to imagine yourself at the end of 2026 feeling like, and knowing, or maybe imagine God responding to what you did and what you accomplished, and God is so proud of you. God is so joyful, right? Just as I was so, so proud of David, when he put those shapes into place. So that's really my main point today. I want you all to leave this sermon feeling like I want to make God happy this year. I want to bring God joy this year. And so how do we do that? How do we grow? Right? It's because it's in our growth that will bring God the most joy, right? It's by fulfilling the 3 great blessings that will bring God the most joy. And so how do we grow? Do we just grow? Do you just grow for the sake of growing? I believe that we grow through having a purpose. And growth is actually a byproduct of having a goal, having a purpose. And so I want to basically give what's the word? Some suggestions for you all on how to be bold, how to create bold goals, and finally, how to be victorious in those goals. So, first, True Mother, Holy Mother Han, she mentioned that in her memoir, she said, "The years of our youth are the best time to dedicate ourselves to exciting goals that make our hearts beat faster." And later on in the paragraph, she actually mentioned that, all of us should be young at heart, right? So it doesn't matter. This applies to everybody, not just young people. But the main point, the main key word here is exciting. So the first point I want to make in creating a bold goal for yourself in 2026 is create a goal that excites you. Maybe some of you that have been in the church for a while, maybe you know Naokimi Ushiroda, Reverend Naokimi, and he's a life coach kind of guy, and he was the president of the church at one point, and he mentioned that if you want to, you're going to achieve your goal most likely if you're excited about it. Has anyone here made a goal that they're not excited about? Maybe you've been in a class or you've been in like a church program where they ask you to make a goal and you just kind of make a goal for the sake of making a goal. And you're not really actually excited about it. And you don't achieve it because you're not interested. You don't actually want to achieve it. So it makes sense, right? It's common sense. Maybe something we don't think about, though. But a goal that excites you, not just a goal that you feel you're supposed to make, but a goal that excites you, that makes your heart beat faster, like True Mother said. Number 2, so that's number 1. So create a goal that excites you. So number 2 is create a goal that's a little bit crazy. So Father Moon, in his memoir, he said dream dreams that others dare not imagine. Dream dreams that others dare not imagine. And this is something that our current president, Reverend Dunkley, has mentioned to us quite a few times, in encouraging pastors to achieve goals, right? So, we have our goals that we want to achieve for growth, for church growth. And one thing that he said really inspired me. It's that, if you make a goal that you think, like, I can achieve this goal based on my own understandings, my own, based on my own knowledge, my own abilities, I can achieve this specific goal, right? And that might make logical sense to you all, but if you think about it, where's the growth in that kind of goal? That's basically saying, like, I'm going to stay the same person I am and achieve only what I can achieve. And then when I achieve it, then I'll say, I achieved this goal. And it's probably not a goal that scares you either. And so he said to make a goal that requires God's intervention. Create a goal that is bold, that requires God's intervention, that's a little bit crazy, a little bit out of my limit. It's when you make a goal, you're saying to the people around you in your life and to the spirit world, the spirit people that are listening, that you want to achieve this goal. And then they'll be inspired. They'll say, wow, he's bold. You know, he might not be enough to achieve that goal, but I admire his courage. And I'm going to help him achieve that goal. That's what it means, I believe, is part of what it means to move the spiritual world. And we as well are spiritual beings. So the people around you will also be inspired by your goal. And God will help you through those people. So that's the second point. Dream dreams that others dare not imagine. Create a goal that's a little bit crazy. So the first point is create a goal that excites you. Second, create a goal that's a little bit crazy. Dream big. And the third point I want to make is create a righteous goal. A goal that goes beyond just yourself. It's not just for yourself, but it's for something bigger than yourself. So I want to share a short story. This is something that really woke me up. So there was a new member that joined the church recently, I think a couple years ago, and he was brought into the church by the grandson of Father Moon, Holy Mother Han. He came here to America to do witnessing. Maybe some of you have met him, Shin Hung. And he was witnessing in LA, and there was this crazy determination that all the missionaries had. I think maybe Kyoka and Satori at the time. They had this goal to bring someone to the big events in Korea within I think 40 days or something. Like they came to America and they're like, all right, let's meet someone new, let's educate them, let's inspire them, and then bring them to Korea. And so no one was able to fulfill this goal except for Shin Hung. Shin Hung was able to fulfill it. And so he brought this new brother, this new member. His name was Eric. He brought him to Korea, and he got to meet True Mother. He got to sit down with True Mother, and then the people that were with him were like, "So True Mother, this is Eric Lee, and Shin Hung met him in L.A. and he has a question for you." And he actually didn't prepare anything. He was like, "I don't really have a question." So instead, Mother asked, "What is your dream? What's your dream?" And so this guy actually, he had a big dream. He had a big dream, which was to climb Mount Everest. And I think it was to be the first person to climb Mount Everest, without oxygen. He's 28 years old, without oxygen, and also I think the first person that to do it with arthritis or something. He has this type of arthritis that you get when you're young. So this guy, he does ultra marathons and Ironmans, and he's crazy, but he has this physical problem, this disability, but he's still determined. I'm going to climb Mount Everest. And so Mother listened to him, and she said, "Your goal is too small. Your dream is too small." And you might think that's harsh, but after that, what she said was, you should have dreams and goals about bringing nations together. That's the kind of level that you should be dreaming at. That's the kind of level she's thinking on, right? She's thinking about how to unite North and South Korea, things like that, how to heal difficulties in different nations, and so that's where she's at, and so she's encouraging him. And so after that, he took a long walk, and he made the determination. He's like, I want to do an ultra marathon run from Pyongyang to Seoul or something like that to help unite North and South Korea or something like that. And so the point is that he made a goal that was higher than himself, much higher than himself. And anyway, it got me looking at myself as well, I got to dream bigger. So that's the third point. Have a righteous goal. So In order to create bold goals, number one, create a goal that excites you, something that you are passionate about, something that will that you'll be able to get through the difficulties because you're committed and passionate about it. Number two is create a goal that it's a little bit crazy, and number three is create a goal that's bigger than just me. And so, what would be the outcome of achieving these goals? What would be the outcome? If you achieved a goal that was you're excited about, that's a little bit crazy, and that's bigger than just you, what would that do to you personally if you achieved a goal like that? Wouldn't you grow through that process? You would grow. You would become a new person. You wouldn't recognize yourself at the end of the year. You'll be like, wow, I didn't, like that person I was at the beginning of 2026 did not achieve that goal. It's the person that I became that achieved that goal. And so it's the process of growth through bold goal. The goal pulls the greatness out of you. It pulls that new person out of you. It's not just growth for the sake of growth, but it's growth for the sake of something higher than yourself. So let's create goals that are like that, brothers and sisters. So that's my first area of focus. Bold. Be bold. All right? Create bold goals this year. Number two is being victorious. So how do we be victorious? There's a psychologist that said there's one characteristic that is a strong predictor of success. Anyone might know what that is? Anyone have any idea? Any guesses? Conviction? Anything else? That's pretty good. What characteristic is required for success? Passion, confidence, consistency. You guys both said consistency. Nice. Yeah, actually, those are all kind of related to this, actually. So this psychologist, did I write their name down? I forgot her name. Is it here? Do I have her name here? Anyways, I'll let you know later. But she said that the strongest predictor of success is grit. Grit. What's the Japanese word for grit? Anyone know? Grit. So grit, she defines grit as passion and perseverance for long-term goals. So someone mentioned passion. Someone mentioned consistency. She said that this is a strong predictor of success, more than talent or IQ in many domains. So you don't have to be the smartest to be the most successful. You don't have to be the most talented to be the most successful. You just have to want it more. So these are people with grit are people that stick with their goals over years. So we're talking about 2026, 1 year, but that's a short time, actually. 1 year is not enough if you want to achieve a really great goal, right? So people with grit stick with their goals over years. Despite setbacks, they tend to outperform equally talented peers. Consistency and effort matter more than bursts of motivation. Perseverance is, so she's defined grit as passion and perseverance for long-term goals. What is perseverance? It's simply not giving up. And then passion, what is passion? Is it enthusiasm? Is it just enthusiasm? Is it just being excited? Passion is long-term commitment. That's what passion is. So of course, grit is not the only factor. Of course, opportunity, support, and strategy matter. And also, don't just decide on a goal and blindly follow it and feel like you have to grit through it without learning or without adapting, because that can backfire. So grit, that's the number one thing we need to be victorious. Simple. And so I want to share a quote from Father Moon. So when you look at Father Moon and Mother Moon's life, you see grit all over their life. You see determination. You see this spirit to never give up, no matter what. And so I want to share this quote Father Moon said. Anyone want to read this with a determined voice? Go ahead, Jeremy. Yeah. So he takes this to another dimension, this idea of grit, that of course we need effort, right? And we need to put in the time. It takes time. But he adds spiritual conditions, right? So this is for me when I read this, it just, what I felt speaking to me was that, yeah, your heart and mind have to be deeply connected to it, to that goal, and that it's something that God approves of. Heaven is acknowledged by heaven. So we're not going to be able to get the spiritual power unless our goal is acknowledged by heaven, right? So I think it's not just about the external goal, but it's about what that goal means for the people around me, for heaven, for God, and what kind of impact it will have on their lives. I think that the spiritual conditions will help us see that, help us see clearly the value of those efforts, the deep value of those efforts, not just a goal for myself and I want to achieve something great, but the deeper value and the deeper meaning behind those efforts. And Father Moon and Holy Mother Han always talked about, that your goals should be. I basically just talked about it. It was bigger than yourself, right? And something that really and I think that that's really where the passion comes from, when it's bigger than yourself. And so that's the way I see it. Spiritual conditions give you this inner strength that is crucial, and that will bring you further ahead than many others. So those are the 2 points I wanted to make. So number 1, make bold goals, make exciting goals, crazy goals, a little bit crazy, a little bit out of your reach, and then finally goals that are bigger than just me, bigger than just for myself. And then finally, making the goal is great, but if we can't be victorious in the goal, what value does it have? So we need grit, and we need spiritual conditions. So this is the foundation, brothers and sisters, that we will be able to grow. If we can achieve our goal, then we don't just achieve the goal, but we grow, we became a new person, right? And this is what will bring God joy. This is God's dream for us, that we achieve those incredible goals that we're passionate about, right? God's dream is to see us be great, and through those things, we as people of God can work through our victories. Even if it's a victory that doesn't seem like it's connected to God, God can work through it. If, for example, by the end of 2026, you want to become a professional pianist, God can use that. You'll make connections with other people. You'll bring other people to God through your skills and abilities. And then, of course, through your piano skills, you'll move people's hearts, and you'll bring them closer to God in that way as well. But this is another thing Father Moon and Holy Mother Han always talk about. Like, when you are victorious in your field, when you're the best in your field, then God can use that. God can use that for great things. You don't just have to do church work to serve God. When you bring God into what you're doing, God will be able to use that thing for incredible purposes, for his incredible purposes. So let's think like that, brothers and sisters. Let's think of our goals not just for ourselves. Let's achieve our goals not just for ourselves, but for God, knowing that God will experience the greatest joy when he sees us achieve these things and when he sees us grow. And God will be surprised by the end of the year when you become this person that he didn't even expect you to be. God may have some hope for you, but wouldn't it be amazing if you had exceeded that hope that God has? Wouldn't it be incredible? How happy would God be, you know? Well done, my faithful servant. So brothers and sisters, let's have an amazing 2026. Let's make God happy. Let's bring God joy through our victories and through our growth that comes through having clear and determined goals, bold goals. Let's be victorious and grow a lot through that. And ultimately, we'll bring God joy, and we'll finish 2026 with the most incredible heart of joy, not just for ourselves, but for our family, for our community, and for God. So thank you, brothers and sisters. Let's have an amazing 2026. Adieu.